Good morning and welcome to Techworks 1999, a live tour of innovative K-12 learning projects right here in Minnesota. Techworks is brought to you by MSET, the Mid-State Educational Telecommunications Cooperative, and by the Little Falls Community Schools. My name is Katie Johnson, and I'm a senior here at Little Falls Community High School.
And I'm Sarah Lang, also a senior here in Little Falls. We're here on the set of the Morning Report, a daily school news program that we host. This will also be the host site for today's tour. Katie and I will be your tour guides for the morning segments.
This program is being viewed on public access channels here in central Minnesota and at school sites around the state via the Learning Network of Minnesota. We'd like to send a special welcome to members of the Minnesota Educational Telecommunications Council who are watching at their meeting in the Twin Cities.
We'd love to hear from you if you have any questions or comments during the course of the program today. There are 3 ways you can contact us. You can call us at 320-632-2017, fax us at 320-616-2382, or you can send us an email. The address is techworks@mset.k12.mn.us.
Here's a brief look at what will be happening today. In just a few minutes, telecommunications consultant Ed Lethard will provide us with a quick overview of what the Learning Network of Minnesota is all about. At about 10 o'clock, MSET Director Jerry Abraham will give us a look at the telecommunications equipment used to provide two-way interactive video and wide area data connectivity among the 10 MSET member schools. Right after that, we'll jump across town and tour the MSET Community Technology Center. Then at 10:20, we travel 15 miles south to the Royalton High School Technology Lab, where students are busy working on various projects. Royalton High School is the home of a Rube Goldberg award-winning student invention, the world's most complicated banana peeler. You will see it in action. At 10:30, you'll share the experiences of Little Falls High School students and instructors who traveled to Russia this past fall to teach Russian students techniques for water quality testing as part of the Riverwatch project. It's a fascinating look at a terrific scientific and cultural exchange.
The 11 o'clock hour kicks off with a closer look at technology in science education. Riverwatch Director Wayne Pico will describe the Riverwatch project, provide highlights of the Russia trip, and explain how the Riverwatch webpage is being used to share data connected from around the world. At 11:30, we'll hop back down to Royalton, where instructor Randy Voiles will show us how his students are operating a commercial fish farm at the high school. After that, we're back in Little Falls. Wayne Pico will tell you how students can get involved in a new environmental science project that will begin this fall. At noon, we'll introduce our arts education segments with an entertaining look at the process involved in producing the Charles Lindbergh fresco at Charles Lindbergh Elementary School here in Little Falls. Following that, at about 12:35, fresco artist Charles Kapsner and media artist Bill Angelos will give us a live introduction to the current fresco project at Lindbergh School and the curriculum tie-ins that are being made to it. At 12:55, we'll journey west to Holding Ford High School, where students of artist and art teacher Mike Oden have created several murals that grace the walls and ceilings of the school. He'll describe the process and show us the work. At 1:05, we'll travel to the eastern edge of MSET and visit the Nayashing School Neonamia. Artist-in-residence Craig David will show us the creation of students who have been working with mosaic tiles to create a mural about Native American history and life. A short while later, at 1:15, we'll come back to Lindbergh School, where teacher Nancy Ratzlaff will describe an exciting new project for elementary kids that is centered around the painting of the second fresco at her school.
At 1:35, we'll begin our tour of technology projects in the elementary grades with a cooperative effort that combines elementary students, a Little Falls landmark, and the internet. You won't want to miss it. Next will be another school and community project that brings together zoo animals, elementary kids, and once again, the internet. Project coordinator Suzanne Johnson will provide the details. Our last segment will begin at 2:05. Elementary teacher Karen Mashler will bring us up to date on the Little Falls Laptop Initiative, which provides portable computers for students that are used in innovative ways. That's our day in a nutshell. We invite you to spend the day with us or just pop in whenever you get a chance. Remember, if you have any questions or comments during the course of the program today, we'd like to hear them. There are 3 ways you can contact us. You can call us at 320 632-2017, fax us at 320-616-2382, or you can send us an email. The address is techworks@mset.k12.mn.us. We would also appreciate if you took a couple minutes to go to our online comments webpage. Here's the address: www.mset.k12.mn.us/techworks. Click on the evaluation button. Everyone who fills in an evaluation at the site will receive a free travel mug courtesy of Means.
Now joining us at the desk is Ed Lethert, a telecommunications consultant who is very familiar with the Learning Network of Minnesota. Ed, we'd like you to give our viewers an overview of what the Learning Network of Minnesota is.
Well, thank you, Sarah and Katie, and it's nice to be here this morning. I was a senior in high school in New Orleans, Louisiana in 1959. It's really a pleasure to be here this morning participating in a program such as this, and I want to thank Jerry Abraham for the invitation. Jerry asked me to give you a quick overview on the Learning Network of Minnesota, which really, you might say, had its roots in 1980 in a town not too far from here, Eagle Bend, Minnesota, where we saw the birth of the Eagle Bend Freshwater Education District ITV network, which incorporated some television and microwave equipment and actually connected 5 communities in that area. Since that time, we have seen an explosion of optical fiber in Minnesota, which has resulted in a growth of K-12 interactive television networking around the state. By the end of the 1980s, we had seen a number of clusters of schools tied together among themselves for purposes of sharing classes. Those schools were isolated pockets in that they were not able to connect to other parts of the state or the country, but they were able to at least share their resources among their own consortiums. About that same time, the late 1980s, the higher education institutions in Minnesota also started connecting together in groups up in northwestern Minnesota, down in southeastern Minnesota. And the growth of that particular type of networking took off rather steadily. And by the early 1990s, we found that the vast majority of all higher ed institutions were connected together. In the meantime, K-12s continued to find ways to connect together. All of this, by the way, was pretty much analog video technology operating over optical fiber, the most of which was supplied by the telephone companies. In the 1990s, we began to see connections between K-12s and higher eds. Now, as you might imagine, we were trying to tie together a patchwork quilt of networks using different types of technology from different equipment manufacturers, and this project was not without its challenges. But this resourcefulness and persistence of many individuals in the state has resulted in something that has worked surprisingly well, considering that its origins are almost totally grassroots. And as we look at Minnesota today from the educational telecommunications perspective, what we really see is virtually now every school district in the state and every higher ed institution in the state connected together with their peers, with each other, and even with the rest of the world. So now the Learning Network not only ties together K-12 to K-12, higher ed to higher ed, but it ties K-12 to higher ed. It allows higher eds to use K-12s as outreach locations, and other equipment actually allows all of these institutions to access virtually any location in the world. And in fact, there are many connections today by schools in Minnesota to other parts of the U.S. And even to other parts of the world, such as Australia, Ireland, and Japan. It is going to be interesting as we move forward to see what the evolution will be. One of the difficulties that we have with the Learning Network is we are in a rather steep part of the technology evolution curve. And this makes it very difficult to make decisions because as to what technology to use in the future, because about the time you get the decisions made and the money appropriated, someone else has come along with something newer, something better, and something that costs less. The bottom line, though, is that we will do the best we can to keep the learning network operating. We will do the best that we can to cause the learning network to become more advanced and to allow education to take more and more advantage of telecommunications opportunities. One thing I may have failed to mention here, too, is the fact that the learning network is not only a video conferencing network, but it is also a data communications network. And it allows all of these institutions statewide to have access to the regional computing centers, to their district and main offices, and also to the internet, which I'm sure all of you know is an extremely powerful resource available to all of us today. So it's been a pleasure to talk to you this morning, and I thank you for your time. Thank you, Katie and Sarah.
Thank you, Ed. The Little Falls Community School District is one of 10 member districts of the MSET Cooperative. Jerry Abraham has been the director of MSET since its inception in 1985 and is rightfully proud of the capabilities of this fiber optic video and data network. Jerry is in the MSET control room with Little Falls Network Manager Cliff Schmitz. Hi, Jerry.
I'd like to welcome everybody who's watching on local access television as well as the METC Council. I'm Jerry Abraham, Director of Technology for MSET, and I thought we'd give you a little bit of tour of our network, how it all operates, the equipment that we use to get the signal out. We just did an upgrade with our network about 3.5 years ago to uncompressed digital. It greatly increased the number of the channels that we have going out to all the districts. We have 4 channels that come in from each individual district, and we can send up to 6 channels out. The way we're using some of those channels is we have the traditional ITV classes that we normally have done throughout the 15 years of our operation, but with the new capabilities, we've also added things like local access connections. 8 of our communities now we have tied to our local access channel, and we have 8 communities that are watching us live right now today as I speak. So we can send a signal out from Little Falls here out to any or all the local access channels in our service area. We also have ties, 4 channels that we have to St. Cloud State University as well as Central Lakes College. And we didn't have that capability before our upgrades. So we've been able to greatly increase the amount of programming that we can do because of the additional channels. And I think I'll give you a little tour. You'll have to come into our little corner here, take a look at the equipment. The equipment is was originally made by Secor. Force Incorporated now manufactures the equipment. But with this system, we have the capability of, if you take a look at our control room here, we have monitors mounted where I can actually watch and see what's going on at all the locations, as well as St. Cloud State, Central Lakes, our production studio, our central office facility, which you'll be touring a little later down the road. We also have, if you take a look more to the right here of our control panel, we have 2 quad boxes. So if we need to quad split a signal for any reason, let's say we have a 3rd grade classroom that wants to interact with 3 or 4 other locations, we can actually do that by sending the signal to the quad boxes. We also have multiple VCRs. I think we have 4 VCRs built into the network where we can send a video tape out to a particular location if they request it, or we can record programming off the network if we have districts requesting that. We also have equipment over here, and that's one of the nice features about our new upgrade is that with the additional channels, we're able to send feeds to in-house channels in each of the school districts. So let's say we have a CKU band digital satellite dish, so if there's a teleconference out there that one of our districts would like to participate in, we can send that out into their in-house channel so that the teachers could actually watch that programming directly from their classroom. We also have a multi-standard VCR so that if we get a tape that's in a different standard, whether it be PAL, CCAM, we can transmit that out through our network, or we can also dub tapes to American Standard if we have to do that. We also have a Via TV box tied into our network, which Via TV is the wireless, is a video telephone, so that if, let's say we have, one example of how we use that system is we had a governing board meeting one day, and one of our members was out at Camp Ripley, we used the Via TV phone so that that member could actually participate in the governing board meeting from Camp Ripley using Via TV. We also have lines in for our wireless equipment that I know I've talked about before, where we have wireless equipment tied into our network that has a 2-mile line of sight transmission distance, and we've used that equipment. As an example, this winter we did live hockey games from the hockey arena, which is a block away, but we used the wireless equipment, being that we don't have an actual line over there. So we have all that equipment built into the network. At any time through a computer that I have here, I can send those signals out to any or all of the sites. Our goal with MSET this year is, within a year, our goal is to actually have all our schools tied into the in-house video system. Right now we've got about 2/3. And our goal is to be able to take a program from any classroom and anywhere in MSET and be able to broadcast it out to any other classroom, to all the classrooms, to any local access channel. Basically take a program from anywhere, send it to any place at any time. We're almost there. We're about 2/3 of the way there. We've just got a few odds and ends, a few school districts that need to have some video wiring done, a few districts that have to buy the portable carts that we're purchasing to be able to take a program from any classroom. And throughout the day, those of you who are going to be with us throughout the rest of the day today, you'll be seeing some examples of those capabilities. When we go, as a matter of fact, at the end of this introduction program, when we go to Royalton High School, they actually have a portable cart in a room, in a lab, where it's then sent through their in-house system to the MSET equipment, where it's then sent to us, and then from there we can send it to anywhere throughout our system. So you'll see an example of that before we end today. So with that, that's pretty much the video end. The person I'm going to introduce right now is Cliff Schmitz. He's the network manager for the Little Falls School District, but he also works with MSET to help us run the data portion of the network, and he's going to explain a little bit about the data portion and how it operates. So Cliff, take it away.
Hello again, I'm Cliff Schmitz, District Network Manager for Little Falls Community Schools, and since I'm at the central point of MSET's network, I've done a little help, or helping them out, putting it together. Basically, our network is fairly simple. We have a standard T1 coming in from a service provider, and we bring that into a firewall, we bring that into a router, we split it out to 9 other school districts and additional locations within Little Falls. We run at about, during the past week, my monitoring has proved that we're running at about 100% utilization, but during those points, I still get 50, 60, 70K worth of download time, so we are doing actually very good. We do plan on growing, and we are in the process of installing a proxy server so that we will be able to provide additional speed, additional service as we continue to grow. There is quite a few things that we do for ourselves. We don't have outside vendors provide any of our service. We do all of our own domain name service. We do everything for ourselves. We're drawing a blank now, but we provide our own email, our DNS service, everything. So.
Cliff, why don't you talk a little bit about we not only provide data, but the phone, fax end of it?
Yes. We do bring our T1 in from the service provider. From there, we connect our voice and video and data and run that out to our individual schools, individual school districts. We do that using just standard technology. This technology has been around for many, many years, and it has become the standard. D4 channel banks, DSU, CSUs provide us the ability to integrate all of our voice and data, which then travels on our single mode fiber out to the individual schools, where we break that apart again and provide individual phone service, fax service, and again internet service, email service. What that does provide us is not all of our schools are within a local calling area, and we can fax and call to each of the locations without incurring long distance charges. In a nutshell, that's about all I can think of. Jerry?
Okay. Thanks, Cliff. And some of you know that we did, for the first 3 years of our upgrade, it was pretty rough. We had some equipment problems, but this last year things have been running fantastic, and and we've been really impressed not only with the video capabilities but with the data as well. And it's been something I know the teachers have been really impressed with, the speed of the internet as well as with the capabilities of email, voicemail, and those types of things. So it's been a great network, and I hope you've enjoyed the tour. Once again, if you have any questions, I'm sure they're going to be bringing those things up to you, those numbers and the fax numbers as well. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Katie and Sarah.
Thanks, Jerry. MSET began as a way for high schools to share instructors, but it has branched out onto other areas of educational technology. We want to take you now to the recently completed MSET Community Technology Center, a few blocks away from here in downtown Little Falls. Joining us from the center are MSET Curriculum Director John Holbrook and MSET Technical Assistant Diana Treadle. John and Diana, would you guys give us a quick tour of your facility?
Thank you. Good morning to you. We're glad to be here. Welcome from our new Community Technology Center. I'm John Holbrook, Program Director for MSET. I provide the interactive TV programming that goes out to 10 different communities that are hooked up to our facility by interactive TV cable, and that includes this facility as well. I'm also Community Education Director at Little Falls, which gives me a unique chance to use programming from the community education side and use it also for interactive TV. So that's my job. Diana?
Hi, I'm Diana Treadle, and I am MSET Technical Assistant and the Operations Manager here at the new Technology Center.
We believe that our new Community Technology Center is an innovative application of technology which is available not just for students, but indeed for the entire community. In fact, that was the impetus and the reason for establishing this recently opened facility. So the capabilities of this particular center we'd like to take a few minutes to talk about today, including first of all our connection with other communities by interactive TV. We like to refer to this as our empire, and you can see that it stretches from Little Falls as our hub all the way to the east to communities such as Onamia, Isle, Neosing. It goes to Central Lakes College in Brainerd, to St. Cloud Technical College, St. Cloud State University, and west and southwest to communities such as Royalton, Holdingford, Uppsala, Swanville, Gray Eagle, and Long Prairie. So that is the extent of our, as we call it, the empire, and we do programming, and we can do programming from this facility to all these different communities. So that is one of our connections as far as MSET is concerned. Along with that, we do a variety of high school courses. We have a full matrix of 7 hours of courses in that area. We also do college classes in the evenings when the students are done with the studios. And we do a variety of community education activities, and we'll just briefly touch on those as we proceed. So that's our connection by interactive TV. We also can use this facility for connecting up with cable TV. Often in a community education type of class, we will not only have that class going out to the 10 different communities on our interactive TV line, but we will also take that same class and put it into the cable TV system serving Little Falls, Uppsala, Pierce, and just recently adding Holdingford and Royalton. Did I miss anybody?
I don't believe so.
Not so. Okay. So for example, when we had a recent income tax class, not only did that class go out to the 10 communities on interactive TV, but we also had that same program on cable TV, and local patrons could call in with their questions about income tax on a live show that was going out both to interactive TV and to cable TV. And again, we can originate those particular programs from this facility. Beyond that, Diana will share with us a little bit about other types of capabilities on video conferencing, including codec and what codec is, and also satellite video conferencing. So Diana, what is codec to begin with, and where is it used?
A video codec allows us to connect via the telephone to just about anywhere in the world. We have a video codec in our MSET hub, which allows us to make a connection anywhere in the United States or across the world, and then send that feed out to any and all of our 10 schools, 10 school districts.
Can you give us a recent example of how you use Kodak to maybe hook up to a distant location and bring that particular program into our schools that are part of our network?
Sure. Most recently in the past few months, we've had a patient here in Little Falls that has been communicating with the burn unit down in the cities, and our capabilities with our Kodak has allowed us to have that person come to the Little Falls High School and meet with her doctor over the video Kodak, thus saving her a trip down to the cities, a 2-hour drive, or actually a 4-hour drive round trip for a 10-minute visit.
That's very, very impressive. And also, it's my understanding that satellite video conferencing is also available. What would be an example of something like that?
Well, this past week we downlinked a program called Living with Grief, and that was sent to the Lindbergh Elementary here in Little Falls, and then numerous people were able to communicate and participate in that conference.
So just to sum up the video conferencing capabilities, obviously we can go out to a network on interactive TV, we can service cable TV clients, and also Kodak connections, and finally satellite teleconferencing. At this time, we're going to let Diana sneak away to the computer part of our facility, and we're going to take just a brief tour of this facility and some of the computer applications that we have, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit about our internet network, which is also part of our conference room here. So Diana, could you tell us about the computer part of this facility?
Certainly. In this area right here, we have 12 G3 Macintosh computers, and on the other side of the room, we have 8 PC Windows 98 machines. Our training center is used for training staff in the 10 schools, but also is open to the community members for community ed classes and to businesses who want to do training here locally in the Little Falls area. We have virtual PC on our Mac machines, and that gives us the capability of actually having 20 Windows 98 machines. We've done classes most recently with the Microsoft Suite, Introduction to Windows, and Internet. We have a T1 Internet connection here, which gives us high, fast-speed Internet access. And it's all gone very well for us. As you can see, we have some students working in here today.
Thank you, Diana. I think one other aspect of the internet connection that's going to serve this community very well is the just blossoming number of internet courses that are available on a college level. This facility will be used for that starting next fall. For example, just up at Central Lakes College, there's been the addition of about 10 internet classes, and we will make those classes available through this facility for clients who'd like to just stay at home, stay here in Little Falls, work on their own schedule, and have the advantage of internet classes. And by the way, currently in the United States alone, there are several hundred internet college classes on the associate, bachelor's, master's, and even a PhD level. Just to draw a little bit of a conclusion here, we're real proud of this facility, and we really see many different uses for it as we've just summarized. And we're hoping, particularly starting next fall with our first full school year, that this facility will be used both day and night, serving the needs of students, adults, citizens, and everyone else who may have reason to utilize the services. You have a question?
Sure. I was wondering, what future trends do you see in applied use of technology in education?
I'm seeing particularly the individualization of college through access of internet and website courses. It's very difficult to... Okay, I'm sorry. We had just a brief interruption. To answer the question, you're going to see a much more of an individualization of college work. Nowadays, particularly when folks have full-time jobs and families, it's not easy for them to get away 2 or 3 times during the week to go to a college campus to take college work. You're going to see many more people take advantage of internet and web-based courses and facilities like ours to do that. So we're excited to have that opportunity to serve people. This is also something that's happening in the high school. Just recently this year, some of the high schools in this area have, for example, started the Cisco program to teach students networking processes, networking applications, and you're going to see an expansion of these courses as well. This will be a nice, valuable addition to most high school curriculums, and I think it'll serve schools well to have this type of feature available to their students. Can I have one question for you, Diana? We've talked about this facility during the school year.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of plans would typically be happening for the summer? Can you give us a preview of what might happen during the summer?
Well, we're planning that right now. We've got some pretty neat programs coming along. We will be having some things for kids because, of course, they have all this free time in the summer. Web camp and media camp are two of the things that we have offering for the kids. And then we'll continue with our training for businesses on an as-need basis and also have classes still open to the communities during the days and in the evenings. Probably on the middle part of the week, though, as we all know, we like our long weekends.
What about classes aimed at special age groups or generations? For example, senior citizens. Do you plan anything on that line?
That is something I'm working on right now. Those are my favorite group of people to work with. They are so scared of technology that it's just fun to let them get on those machines and let them know that they can do all kinds of things and they're not going to break it, and so many things are just an easy click to fix. And so, yes, we have classes that are going to be just for those 55 and older. And, of course, if those people are still welcome to join the younger generation, if they're just, computer whizzes also, they don't have to come to those classes that are just 55 and older. But they're for those that would prefer that setting.
Now you'll be teaching.
Yeah, that's my favorite group to teach.
Tell me how you go about with a generation that's fearful of technology. How do you relax them to make them enjoy and appreciate and utilize things such as the internet?
You smile and you giggle a lot, and you pat them on the back and you tell them it's going to be all right.
Good. And for our younger kids, summer rec, do we have something for them?
That's the energetic bunch. That will be web camp, where they will come in and learn how to design web pages for a few days in a row. And also media camp, where they will come in and learn how to make videos and do some different things with working with different types of media, cameras and things.
Those sound like very exciting classes. Tell us a little bit more about the video production one. That kind of intrigues me.
Well, Jim Norwood's going to be teaching that class, and I haven't received any information from him on the actual details of the class. I just know he intends to have them shoot some video, bring it in, use different kinds of programs on the computers to learn how to use transitions and some of the different techniques that are out there. I think he was going to use a program called Bryce, which is a 3D program that allows them to take some video and go from there. Okay.
Thank you for letting us provide this tour for you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the day.
We happen to be running a little bit ahead of schedule, so we are going to take you into our control room and give you an inside look at our video production equipment.
Well, hi. I'm Greg Beck. I'm the media technology specialist here at the Little Falls High School. And since we are a couple minutes ahead of schedule, I thought you might want to take a look at the kids that are bringing you this production today, and they are all kids, and some of us kids at heart, but actual students here. We have set up a video club that is totally volunteer that kids put on a news program every single morning with Sarah and Katie as our hosts, and this is where we run it from. We've got kind of middle-level equipment at this point. We're using a Macintosh for our graphics. We have another dedicated graphics character generator, very inexpensive one. So we kind of pull together bits and pieces of things, and a lot of times we'll just use camcorders or inexpensive cameras for all of our shoots, and it tends to work out very well. We've got about 20 kids active in Video Club at this time, and sometimes we have 20 kids here in the morning. We can use about a dozen, but we don't turn them away, that's for sure. They're learning a heck of a lot about teamwork, about cooperation, about visual communications, all those things that we think kids in this upcoming century are going to really need to have a good handle on, and these guys are really getting that. And there are some girls as well. There aren't all just guys, although we'd like to have a few more girls here. Maybe they're intimidated a little bit by people like Doug there and likes to bark orders, and Sean. We're real fortunate right now. We don't have all but a couple of seniors like Mike. Rest are juniors and a lot of freshmen, and so that really bodes well. After we're done with our Techworks today, this happens to be prom night in Little Falls, and so we are going to be doing the prom Grand March, which is about an hour-plus spectacle in our gym, which doesn't look like a gym right now. They've been busy decorating it. And we'll be making a tape of that from our studio up here. We have lines that run down to the auditorium and to the gym with video and audio and headset communications. So we mix it all up here, put it on tape, and we're going to be selling that tape to the prom goers and parents and other interested parties for a few dollars to help with our fund for equipment and also our spring trip to Valley Fair, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. So that's it from here, I guess. I think we can give Jim a little bit more time down in Royalton. That's our next stop, but let's go back to the studio and introduce that segment. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Greg. Another MSET member school district is Royalton, located about 15 miles south of Little Falls. Marty Bratch has been a Royalton High School technology education instructor for the past 14 years. His students have participated in many technology competitions, like the High Mileage Vehicle Contest, but the thing they have received the most attention for has been the making of a very unique banana peeler. Little Falls High School technology integrationist Jim Norwood is with Marty Bratch in Royalton Technology Lab. Let's join them.
Hi everybody, I'm Jim Norwood, and I am here in Royalton with Marty Bratch. And Marty's been receiving some notoriety lately, along with his students, for a contraption that's standing behind us here, and we'll take a closer look at that in just a second. But something about a Rube Goldbergian type of thing here, and I think Marty's going to tell us what contest his students entered with this contraption and exactly what it's designed to do. So maybe, Marty, you can tell me a little bit about what is this thing back here?
Sure. We entered a competition at Minnesota State University, which is located in Mankato, and each year Minnesota State has the competition celebrating Engineers Week at Minnesota State. And what happens is every year they give a new problem to students in tech ed classes, in physics classes, and science classes, and students are then, after they receive the problem, then need to go and solve the problem by creating a machine. And this year's problem was to peel a banana using as many steps as possible. Jim?
Okay. And how many students were involved in the project this year?
We had 10 students, and they were sophomores.
Okay. So are you looking forward to doing this competition again in the future then? Is this something that you plan to do every year? Or?
Well, this is actually our second year, and yeah, we're going to be doing it in the future. The group that I work with is not only involved with the Rube Goldberg, they're also going to be involved with the high mileage vehicle next year. So we're kind of rolling along with this thing. So.
Sure. Now, the competition that you won, exactly how many people participated in that?
There were approximately 50 teams, and that's from Minnesota and from Iowa. There were a lot of schools out of the Twin Cities area and the southern part of the state.
Okay.
So.
The particular idea for this project, how did it come to be that we decided to use Hot Wheels track, or we decided to use the lovely mascot up here? Who comes up with the ideas, or what is the process that you go through in order to put this design together?
Okay. With this project, it is mainly student orientated. So after I give students a problem, then they've got to come up with the steps to solve that problem. So all the ideas are generated from students, and even the parts that are brought in from the students themselves. So they go through, look at the processes, and the thing that we really tried to concentrate on this year with the machine was trying to get predictability. Because we had a really good machine last year, but some of the steps weren't that predictable. You know, and even with this machine, you're going to find out, you know, we set up things and they don't always work just right. But that's what we tried to concentrate on this year.
Okay. Speaking of bringing students in, let's bring some on right now. We do have several members of the team that put together the machine, and I'd like to bring them on camera and maybe have them talk about their experience. And maybe you can just tell me who you are and give me some of your thoughts about participating in the Rube Goldberg competition. I'm
Kelly Warzeka, and I'm a sophomore, and the Rube Goldberg competition was mainly about teamwork, and I don't know, it was a fun experience, and I hope to do it again.
I'm Elizabeth Gutwald, and I'm also a sophomore. It was fun and interesting.
Now, based on your experience this year, have you come up with any ideas for zingers you might try to throw in next year that would really top this effort?
I guess our main idea is just to keep the raccoon in the thing, and that's probably about it, because we don't know what it is yet.
Oh, you don't know what the problem will be to solve next year. I see. So the mascot on top is the one constant that runs through the whole thing. Okay. I think what we're going to do is cut to a piece of videotape that was run on Channel 5 by Jason Davis, where the project was profiled. And we'll cut to that right now. And then we'll come back and we'll talk.
Award for making a simple task very difficult. It is unusual for anyone to get a pat on the back for being inefficient. But as Jason Davis found when he went on the road to Royalton, it's not what they did, but how they did it.
On the road with you, there's a place I want to see.
It took the combined talents of 10 sophomore students from Royalton High School more than 6 weeks to put it together. Hour upon hour of intricate scientific analysis, detailed arrangements involving mass, energy, reaction, and gravity. They put everything they had into the project.
I think every piece on the thing reflects one of us in some way or another.
It was an exercise in teamwork, a complex, challenging task that taught these kids to compromise and share ideas.
I meet a lot of other people. They teach you stuff, you teach them stuff.
And they learned that it's absolutely amazing what you can do when you work together. The students created this machine as part of a competition to celebrate National Engineers Week. It's all in the tradition of Rube Goldberg, a cartoonist who drew incredible machines that were fun, but totally impractical. The rules were simple.
Easy thing like peeling a banana, you know, it's no big deal. But then to take it and like stretch it out as many steps possible to make a machine that'll peel the banana.
Using a wide variety of materials, some of which were liberated from long-forgotten toy boxes, the team made something simple, like peeling a banana, as hard as possible.
You take a banana and you peel it, it's so easy, but trying to do it without using your hands.
Hey, don't laugh. They won. In Royalton, Minnesota, this is Jason Davis reporting.
Hey, we're back again. And I have a couple more members of the team, and maybe you can introduce yourselves before I start pestering you with questions.
My name is Jeff Pasella.
My name is Mark Shima.
Okay. And I guess one of the questions that runs through my mind is, before doing this competition, did you know who Rube Goldberg was?
Nope.
No, had no clue.
Okay. And but now you know, right?
Yeah.
And tell me about Rube Goldberg.
He was an 18th century cartoonist, and he had all sorts of weird cartoons.
Yeah, and designed to do things in a lot of steps. Now, one question that I have is, are there a certain number of steps that you have to go through? Is there a minimum number of steps, or is it just make as many steps as you can to get the job done?
Make as many steps as you can.
What were some of the other entries like? I mean, here we've got we've got a mascot on top. Do any of the other teams at the competition use a mascot or have some kind of distinguishing mark that they placed on their entries?
Not really. There was one there with a slut or something like that, they called it. I don't know exactly, but they didn't have near as many steps as we did.
Okay. Do you have any ideas for possible steps that you could put into this thing for next year? Or here's a more important question. You have to tear this thing down, move it, set it up somewhere else, and get it to work. How difficult is that? Does it work right the first time when you move it? Is it something that has to be fine-tuned?
Yeah, it's got to be very fine-tuned.
And I assume that's why we don't get to see it run here today.
No, it's just a little shy today.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm going to bring Marty back in here for just a second, and then we're going to take a look at some of the other features of the Tech Ed Lab here. And thank you very much, gentlemen.
One thing I might add is I know some of the guys in Little Falls were wondering, how many steps were involved in this one. This machine has 52 steps. Our closest competition was a physics class out of Iowa, and they had 27. So, yeah. And the big thing isn't necessarily only having all those steps. It's being sure that they work. When we went into the, I guess they set you up in rows, and there's 5 teams in a row, and then you compete against those 4 other teams, and then you move into the finals from there. And when we were in the rows, all of our steps worked. When we went to the finals, they give you one step that, if one step doesn't work, that's okay. And we did have one step in the finals that didn't work, but because we had the 52 steps and it was as creative as it was, we won the trophy. So.
Well, great. Now, I understand that you've been contacted possibly by somebody in Burbank about maybe taking this thing national. Maybe you can tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, it was kind of interesting. I think it was last Tuesday. I was sitting in the lab and I got a call from the office, and they said, "Well, you're going to want to take this call." So when I answered the phone, it was the Tonight Show from Burbank, California, with Jay Leno, and they informed us that they were interested in the project that we had done. In fact, they had seen the video that Jason Davis had done, because it wasn't only shown in Minnesota; it was shown in Minnesota and then syndicated out around the United States. So we had people seeing it in California, some people in New Jersey and different areas like that. So it was kind of interesting that they had picked that up. But after seeing the video, they asked me if we would be willing to send them a video so they could view it and then decide if they wanted to show it. So we've been in contact with them. We've sent them a video. I've talked to the producer back and forth, and they're on a break here till April 26th, and then they're going to get back to us and whether they're going to show us on their show and bring us down there. So it's kind of
sure. Any worries about whether the machine would work if you had to move it all the way out to Burbank, California?
That's a good question. I think if we go to Burbank and if we are on the Tonight Show, we're going to have to spend some extra hours. And like I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, when we had the students in, they worked weeknights, they worked weekends, and they even worked holidays to get this project done. And it wasn't always roses when we were working on it. There were all kinds of problems that they went through in doing it. But, we're going to make sure it works if we go there.
Well, great. That would be a wonderful opportunity. Well, we are standing here in the Technology Education Lab in Royalton, and I guess I'd like to take this opportunity to maybe pan the room, and maybe you can tell me a little bit about the philosophy behind this room and how you implement it in your curriculum. So let's just start taking a couple of steps this way.
Well, we've got over here, first of all, maybe I should say, we set up the technology lab to give students an idea of some of the possibilities for occupations and maybe future areas that they might want to work into. And in doing so, we tried to pick out different modules that were going to deal with some of the high-tech areas. And what you're going to see is probably 10 to 11 different modules that we have, and we still have 2 more that aren't up and running right now, but we'll show you them, and then we'll kind of go from there. The first one we have is a robotics module, and that's right here, and we've got 2 students working on that, Ryan and Andy, and what they're doing is they're learning about the robotics on the system, and then they're going to be programming a small manufacturing sequence here, and they're not quite to that point. The students right now are in their second day of the rotation, and as they progress, they get into more and more activities. So this is robotics, and then back here,
I don't have much cable.
Okay, we're going to run short. Back here we've got a CNC mill set up, where students are going to work with a CAD/CAM program. They're going to program the CNC and then actually make a hard product from that. That's where you're doing the CAD drafting and then creating the solid item. Okay, and then back in the corner, we don't have anybody on that right now, but that's digital sound and digital speech. It deals with computers and voice recognition. Okay, over here we've got two students working on computer-aided publishing, and it deals with graphic communications. And right now they're working through some designs on different hard items such as paper. Later on they'll get to a project where they're actually designing and making a t-shirt. Okay, in that module. This module right here, we've got two students on. I wish we could show you some video of that. I don't know if we can get around to it, but they're in an animation module and they're making a cartoon. Okay.
We're gonna swing around to the other side here.
Okay.
And on this side of the room, it looks like we've got quite a few more modules.
Sure. Right here we've got Peter Casella, and he's working on digital photography. And in this module, the student will take the pictures using a digital camera and then configure it the way they want to. They can change the camera. I have a couple of real creative students in the lab. Last week they took a picture of me and made me look a little bit larger than I normally look. Stretched my forehead out a little bit, gave me a nose, and in actuality you really couldn't tell it wasn't me, other than maybe I'm a little better looking than that. So, okay, and then back here we've got two students working with a video production module. Okay, and in video production, most of the schools have that in one shape or form or another. But in all the modules, what is brought through to the students is the total technology, start to finish, and then also how do I get into this field if I'm really interested into it. Okay, right here we have a virtual reality module. We don't have anybody on that right now, but it works with 3D images and bringing students into the field of virtuality or virtual reality and how it's used in the medical field and different areas like that. Okay, back here we have Jamie Godich, and he's working on a GPS unit, okay, which is global positioning systems. And right now he's going through the curriculum. Later on he'll actually be taking a GPS unit out and creating different locations or finding his locations out on the field behind the school. Okay. Right over here, if we can reach that, we have Dan Machi, and he's working on auto exploration. And what that's all about is automotive technology. And Dan's going through programs where he has to identify different parts of the car, learn about the maintenance, learn about the history of automobiles, and which way they're going. Okay. Right here, let's see if we can bring the camera over here.
Why don't you swap the camera around the other way there, Paul?
We've got a couple of guys working on aerodynamics. Okay. And this aerodynamics unit deals with a wind tunnel. And what it does is it registers a readout from our wind tunnel on the computer. So students can make an object, and John Wincher right here, this is one of our seniors, has created a model of a car, and he's put it in the wind tunnel. I don't know if we can pick it up here. Okay. And what's going to happen here in a minute is he's going to turn on the wind tunnel, and after he does, they're going to get a readout on the computer over the side of the lift and the drag of that item, so he can see how efficient that item is as far as aerodynamics is concerned. John, you want to turn on the switch there? Okay. And I don't know. I suppose we can't get a shot of that. Hold this a second. Maybe we can pull over here. We got Jeremiel over here, and he's running the computer. Okay, it's on an ab. Turn it up once, John, if you can. Okay. And he's getting a readout on there, and it's giving him the numbers on the lift and the drag of that item. This module also includes flight sim, so it takes students through some of the technology dealing with flight and aviation. So that's kind of what we've, as a whole, And later on, we're going to do some get a module dealing with 3D modeling, which will go back in the corner also. So we're trying to get students into new technologies, give them some avenues for when they get out of college, which direction they want to go.
Sure.
That's what we're all about.
Well, I want to thank you, Marty, for showing us around and for showing us the Rube Goldberg contraption. And we hope that we get a chance to see it on the Tonight Show sometime.
Yeah.
And with that, I think we're going to wrap it up here and send you back to Little Falls.
Okay.
Thank you.
Should I say thank you?
Yes.
Thank you, Royalton.
This past fall, a group of Little Falls science students and 3 teachers traveled to Chelyabinsk, Russia as a part of a special environmental education program called Riverwatch. Shortly after 11 this morning, we will be talking with Riverwatch director Wayne Peichel. But first, we'd like to show you a video produced by Jerry Abraham and Jim Norwood that is guaranteed to make you feel like you were along on that trip. I have to be leaving you now, but Katie will be back in about 30 minutes with 2 of the instructors who made the trip to Russia. Before I leave, I want to remind you that we welcome your questions and comments during the course of our program today. Again, the 3 ways you can contact us are by phone at 320-632-2017, by fax at 320-616-2382, and a reminder that operators are standing by to take your calls. Or feel free to send us an email. The address is techworks@mset.k12.mn.us. We would like to know your opinions about our program today. Please take a couple of minutes and go to our online comments webpage. Here is the address, www.mset.k12.mn.us/techworks. Click on the evaluation button, and everyone who fills in an evaluation at the site will receive a free travel mug, courtesy of Means.
The reason they went was to implement the Riverwatch program, which is a water quality program. They were trained over the summer of this last year extensively, and their purpose was to take their knowledge and teach the students in Russia how to test their water and implement the same kind of program in Russia.
Certainly, there was no experience in my lifetime ever, professional or otherwise, that has been as deep of a emotional, moving experience, learning experience, as what this thing was. Never in a time period during my lifetime have I ever had so much input coming in by way of wow, I can't believe this. I mean, it was a very deep experience.
The other day I saw a picture in a paper. It was of Lenin in Red Square, and I'm thinking, my God, I've been there,
Whenever anyone thinks about Russia, they think of the big architecture on Basil's Cathedral, and we got to walk right up to it and look at it, and I have pictures of it, and it's cool.
we walked into the train depot. It was like walking back to 1940s. It was just like a change, you know. The trains looked like the old movies that we saw, like in the 1940s, and people getting on, and sure enough, here are the people dressed like that. It's kind of like going, wow, you know, it's back in time.
I thought the train rides were like one of my most favorite parts. It was just so fun. Like the way there, it seemed to take forever, but the way home, it just like was gone in no time at all.
We were on the train for 36.5 hours, maybe 37. There were a few stops, short stops. I think our longest stop was maybe a half an hour. And we could get off and walk around in the city. It was 4 beds, and they were bunked, 2 beds bunked. And the bottom bed you could flip up. You could also flip the top bed.
Just looking out the window and just taking in all that I had never seen before. It was just so foreign to me. And just looking out along the tracks, and sometimes you'd see the little villages and just like their gardens, all their little plots where they grow cabbage and stuff. Or just like walking along. I don't know, it was just such a wonderful sight. I just couldn't get enough of just standing there and just watching, just the country.
Stops on the way there, we'd go, we'd buy, more pop and stuff. Somebody, I think they went to buy some apples, right? And they only wanted like 2 apples, so they gave them like $1 American dollar, and they only wanted like 2 apples. And then she gave them like the whole bucket. It was just a great trip, and it's just like, I want to go on another train ride. I don't care, Amtrak, whatever, I'm going.
As a person who was just a little bit older and grew up in the age of the real Cold War, and these people were our enemies. And here's a country that I was in, and they were taking care of me. They didn't have much for money, but whatever they had, they gave of themselves, or gave what they had. One of the things they always seemed to have is they had food. And we ate, and there was one day I had 6 major meals, and there was no days I had less than 4.
We didn't get to do a lot of testing over there, and I think we would have liked to have done more.
It was bad. It was obviously impacting. The water was pretty impacted by the large city, and that was the only river going through it. And they said that 80% of the water had already been used. It was already taken out from some factory and put back into the stream or the river.
Но однажды вечером в кафе на побережье сидела ты за столиком, зажженною тобой. Мы глазами встретились.
At one of our test sites, it was I think at the outskirts of Chelyabinsk, and we were testing off a bridge, and on one side of the bridge it was lined with garbage. I was really shocked with how much garbage was in their water. Like the bridge was just, it caught up so much of the garbage and stuff. It was just lined with pop bottles and
School 31, the one that we were with, they definitely are into it big time. In fact, I just last week got their first report, and they did a whole water quality thing now based upon 2 years of their study. Very, very well done. But it was done at a university. They're not using the equipment that we had left off there. Exactly what the problem is, I'm not sure. It may be unavailability of reagents. I do think that 31 is well on their way, and as long as they don't have a major shakeup in the personnel there, I think that it's going to be a sustainable program.
Ты моя единственная в городе чужом. Я налью же.
One evening we got invited over to a friend of Dave's, and they had their son home, and one of his friends came over and they played the piano and sax, and we played a whole bunch of American music. My father, Pagodin, played the guitar also, and Wayne played the guitar, and we had a sax and a piano, and we just played a whole bunch of American oldies and danced and had a good time.
Jay?
Yes.
Winnie?
I noticed at the birthday party there was a dance they did. It was kind of a song and a dance. They'd go in a circle and walk around. Instead of singing, like we sing happy birthday to everybody that has a birthday, they do like a dance, and they go around the circle a certain number of times for how old that person is, and they clap and dance around, and I thought that was kind of cool.
The organ hall was real beautiful. A lot of it was marble, and when you walked in the back there was wooden pews, and you looked up at the organ, and the organ took up like the half of the front of the building, and it was just phenomenal. And
They were giving us some history on the organ hall and how they had to restore it and rebuild it from all the damage that had been done over the years, and it was a really beautiful building. They were saying that it was probably the most beautiful building that was in Chelyabinsk, Russia, which is a town of 1.5 million people.
We climbed a mountain one of the last few days we were there. It was a Tuesday and Wednesday excursion thing we went on. And we climbed a mountain to the highest peak. Well, we couldn't really go to the highest peak because it was too steep, but we went to the one they called the highest peak.
One of the things that Mr. Peichel and I noticed was that when we were climbing the mountain, there was no animals whatsoever.
No tracks. Fresh snow, but no tracks.
It was amazing.
Now, twice that we've been over there, the thousands of miles of train travel that we've done from Moscow to Chelyabinsk and all the other driving around, and here we were up in a mountain range that was actually a national park. I think I've seen 2 deer in all of my time in traveling in Russia. There wasn't much in the way of animal sign in the area we were, because it was nice fresh snow. Had been down there maybe for 2 days, 3 days, and you go outside after 3 days of snow around here anyways, you're going to see animal tracks everywhere. And that's telling you something. It's telling you something.
it was really cool. And then once we got down and we spent the night in Mias, and then on the way home we ended up getting a police escort with the strike and protest.
We were in Mias when it was like a strike, a day strike, and we woke up that morning in a hotel and there was no power, no heat or anything, and there was just hundreds of people lining in the streets holding signs and yelling, and there was no vehicles running. All the roads were blockaded off.
Did have, I had 2 or 3 opportunities to where, and the students did too, to actually get out in the countryside, out of the cities, and the beauty, I mean the trees, I know there were a lot of forests that were all birch, and you'd have these white trees and a carpet of a white and yellow because the leaves had just fallen on the ground, and it was just beautiful. And the beauty, I don't know what lake we stopped at on the way back, but just the beauty of that lake that we saw too, where we did some water testing, that really struck me. I guess I didn't expect that, the beauty of the countryside in Russia either.
We're having a blue milkshake.
Thanks to Alexa.
You're looking good, Dad.
Lisa.
Are you there, pal?
Yeah, it's really slow.
Okay. How are the bathrooms doing?
Everything's good, but we gotta miss Well, let's say goodbye. I'll say goodbye.
Okay, take care, honey. I love you.
Love you too.
I love you. Bye.
Bye.
Dad was actually kind of the big cheese over there. He was, oh goodness, I don't know what you'd call him. He was the second most important person there, and they gave us a tour of the whole building and kind of how it worked, and they had like a big map of, or kind of a model of the whole city of Chelyabinsk, or most of the city, and they showed us, we actually got to shoot guns, and we got to look at all their different guns. That was probably the biggest thing, and took pictures and saw how.
Но мы не будем говорить большие речи. Друзья, мы обещаем вам быть верными своим словам. В фильмах все нереально, жизнь гораздо сложней. Здесь романтики мало, мы должны стать сильней. Вы все верьте и ждите, и надейтесь на нас. Оправдаем надежды, станем грудью за вас. Погоны серые, как сталь, легли на плечи. Но мы не будем говорить большие речи.
Disco is a lot of fun. It's a lot different than dances here at school. The beat of the music was much more up-tempo. It was kind of different to dance to. But probably one of the coolest things, they had some different dances there. Plus they had karate demonstration. It was very impressive.
the last session that Jerry and I did at the university there where we were teaching was that we showed them our website. Now, they didn't have internet even connected at that section, at least, of this university. It shows you how backward technology they were. But so what we did is we downloaded it on the hard drive of the portable computer that Jerry had. And then we were able to boot that up and stuff and show it to them. They were extremely impressed at that university session there. They couldn't believe that a high school had something like this set up.
For a long time, it's almost, I don't know, it's really slow, super extremely slow, because it went through the university. So since it went through the university, like on days that the university was in session, it would go really slow. But we did get to see it, and that was like kind of the coolest thing. Like, oh look, it's Bethany, you know? It's like, oh, there's Bethany. Yeah, there's Bethany on the computer screen.
It was neat to be able to see like us doing, you know, in Russia, like while we were there. It was neat.
At the going away party, before we ate, they had like some games for us to play, like who could get the most clothes on, and who could be the most people on the chair. They split us up into 2 teams.
In Moscow, we got to stop in a McDonald's. They actually had a McDonald's in Russian, and it was kind of neat because you wouldn't have to order it in Russian. You just say, you want Big Mac, you know, fries. They knew what that meant. That was pretty neat. I know I ate a lot there. I had like a Big Mac, large fries, and large shake, and I think I had someone else's hamburger.
We had a Moscow experience this second time. We didn't have the first one, and that was to ride that subway system that they have. That is really an impressive system. And we rode there that one day on I don't know how many of this different underground subway. And the main terminals are all underground and beautiful. I mean, the architecture and the paintings, it almost looks like a version of the Sistine Chapel, you know, that paintings on the ceilings and stuff. That was really a very impressive underground subway system. The GOOM, which was, I guess, at one time one of the world's largest shopping malls, from what I was told. But it is an extremely high-class shopping mall system. And we were told by the tour guide, I asked her, well, you know, is this where you buy your clothes and stuff? Oh, heavens, no. New Russians only, new Russians only. The common Russian, we were told, does not shop at the GOOM.
thought Amsterdam was beautiful, and the canals was awesome. I can't even describe it. It was just so breathtaking, watching the structures and the people and like the artists just everywhere at night, drawing and painting, and I was in awe.
Having a ride right through practically the middle of Amsterdam in a boat, and it was really neat. We were in a canal boat, and we went right by Anne Frank's house. That was pretty cool. They said, "There's Anne Frank's house." Like, really? That was pretty neat. We'd see out, like Raylan said, there's artists just everywhere painting views of different things, and I thought it was kind of neat.
David.
When the plane touched down, I didn't want to believe we were coming home. I was enjoying myself over there, and when I got through the customs thing and we were going through baggage check, and I just thought, oh, our trip is over with, we're done. We won't go back as a group again, probably.
As I remember really specifically that as the plane was touching down, I was thinking, I wonder where I'm eating my next meal, and then I realized, I'm going home. I'm getting into my parents' car and going home. And it was a lot of mixed feelings because I was excited to see my family and my friends, but what we left behind we left a lot behind. It was hard to leave Russia.